Hi, I'm Chef Pants, and today I'm gonna make the world's most famous Del Taco sign. It may look good from afar, but it is very runny, and I don't like that. So the year is 2015 in July. You're driving down the road and you come to a red light when all of a sudden you look over and you see that the Del Taco to your left has a sign. And on the marquee of the sign, the letters that would spell out fresh avocado have been slightly shifted, thus making them spell freshavacado, accidentally creating one of the greatest vines of all time. Now I quote vines all the time in my head, but that vine specifically, I think I have like a little soft spot in my heart for. And that's because the Del Taco in that vine, the freshavacado Del Taco, was my local Del Taco.
Are you eating your taco and Fruit Loops?
And I've lived a lot of places in my life. I mean, I lived in California, I lived in New Zealand, I've lived in Illinois, I've lived in North Carolina. And it may sound stupid, but one of the things that I missed since leaving California is my local Del Taco. But then I asked myself, what if I could bring a piece of that Del Taco with me? And what if I could have something on my desk that I could look at and then be reminded of not only Del Taco, but the vine that I quote on pretty much a weekly basis. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna recreate the sign from the freshavacado vine, that rhymed, in miniature form so I could have it with me always. And after a lot of 3D modeling, I eventually landed on this. This is my 3D printed, what the fuck is this called? This is the prototype mock-up of my Del Taco sign. But it took a lot just to get to here. What I realized very quickly is there's pretty much no 3D models of a Del Taco sign, which why would there be? But when something doesn't exist, you just have to make it yourself. And in this case, that was definitely easier said than done, because even finding the right Del Taco sign ended up being a challenge. But I knew that I had to start somewhere, so what I did was I input the address of the Del Taco and I went to Google Maps. And that's where I realized I might have my first problem. This sign didn't look very much like the one from the vine. And then I started to second guess myself, like, have I been wrong this entire time?
I've stumbled onto a major company conspiracy, Mac. How about that for stress? What the hell are you talking about?
Is my Del Taco not the Del Taco from the vine? Have I just been proclaiming this to people for years? Like, oh, my local Del Taco is the one from the vine. And then they're like, what vine? You know, the freshavacado vine. I've never seen that before. Here, well, let me show you on my phone.
Freshavacado! Freshavacado!
Ah, maybe you didn't get why it was funny. You should watch it again. And that's usually how it goes. Oh, stupid. But that's when I remembered that Google Maps is also a time machine. Google Maps has a feature where you can go back and see all the different times that the Google Maps car has driven past the location. And that was exciting because I could vaguely remember when the vine came out. And then I found it. At some point in July of 2015, the marquee of the Del Taco on Hawthorne Boulevard said fresh avocado, which means that at some point, either before or after the Google Maps car drove by that location, the letter shifted to spell freshavacado. I mean, I wish I could describe how exciting this was to me. I felt like I had cracked a cold case that no one really cared about.
Oh shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper.
And how do I know that this is the Del Taco? Come on, it's the exact same. But now came the hard part, because I realized that I had to 3D model the sign based off of some sort of reference images. And the screenshots from Google Maps were not gonna be high quality enough for me to be able to create like a proper vector image to be able to model the actual sign. And that's when I discovered something horrifying. There is almost no high quality images of that specific logo design for Del Taco. Like, I couldn't find one anywhere on the internet. I didn't even know that there were multiple logos for Del Taco. And it made me question, like, where did this logo come from? Why did my local Del Taco have this logo, which I feel like is just the logo, but when I search Del Taco on the internet, that specific logo, that specific design, that artwork doesn't pop up anywhere.
There's no Pepe Silvia, you gotta be kidding me! I got boxes full of Pepe!
But then I found my saving grace. There was this eBay listing for like a flat, like 2 foot by 2 foot Del Taco sign that had the right artwork on it. And that picture was high quality enough where I could finally start modeling the Del Taco sign in Fusion 360. But how big did I actually want this to be? I knew that I wanted it to fit on my desk, and that's where I came up with this. This is my prototype 1.0. I knew that this was generally the size that I really wanted for it. But staring at this, it just felt sort of boring, like there was something missing. And that's when I realized I think I'm gonna have to 3D model like the hedge and sort of the surrounding area of the sign. And that brings us to version 2.0. I basically looked at everything that was surrounding the sign and 3D modeled tiny versions of it to snap into the base. So the base is made up of a few different pieces. There's obviously the base, which everything snaps into. There's the grass, which is printed with this sort of fuzzy texture, along with the hedge, with the sidewalk, and a corner of the curb that leads to the parking lot. And when you snap them all together, they make this, which is a scale model replica of the ground surrounding a Del Taco sign, which, as I'm saying it, doesn't sound that exciting. One of the things that I really wanted to do was print all the parts to the sign in the colors that they are in real life. That means obviously printing the grass in green and the sign in red and the frame to the sign in this sort of beige color, which, let me tell you, after printing with this beige color, I don't know what it is. I haven't found the right settings for this or something, but I hate it. I hate the beige. I never want to print with it again. I've had more print failures with this beige than I've had with any filament ever. But if I'm being honest, it's probably my fault, so we'll just let it go. But one of the most important pieces of the sign is the marquee. And for that, I printed this. This is a little freshavacado marquee that's printed on some clear sticker paper. So you just peel the backing off of this and you stick it on there. But after making the sticker for that, it left me wondering, what did the other side of the marquee say? Did it also say freshavacado, or did it say fresh avocado, or something completely different? But luckily we had Google Maps, so I just spun around to the other side and sure enough, fresh avocado. So I made a second sticker that has the exact same placement of those words, and boom. So I think now it's time to just put it all together. There's definitely an order of operations that I think I'm gonna build this in. First thing though, is I'm gonna paint the face of these signs, because it's a lot easier to paint these before they're assembled. I don't think that paint pens are necessarily the way to go. It is very runny, and I don't like that. All right, it's the next day and our Del Taco signs have dried. And obviously we have two of them to make both sides. So now we have to glue these together and then we'll put the frame on. And yesterday, as I was waiting for the paint to dry, I went ahead and assembled most of the sign. It's not permanently fixed together yet. After I constructed the base, I went ahead and started putting the sign together, and this was surprisingly a lot of fun. The 24-hour drive-through came together really nicely, as did the fresh avocado freshavacado sign, where it says freshavacado on one side, and on the back side it says fresh avocado. So now it just sort of slides right into there, and then it'll get glued into place after I assemble the top side. But let's go ahead and do that now. A nice little bit of glue. Make sure that these align together properly. All right, so there we have it. There is our Del Taco sign, now double-sided. Next, I'm gonna glue this up and then slide it into the frame. Boom, boom. That is looking really good. I'm really glad that I printed all the pieces in their own colors instead of having to paint every single individual one. I'm just really happy with that. The next thing to do is add some glue to the inside and then slide it on. I'm getting just a little bit of twisting, so I think I'm gonna try heating this up and just try rotating it slightly so that these all align perfectly. Because right now we have just the tiniest bit of warp. You know what, I think that did the trick. I'm just gonna let it cool for a minute. Boom. So now all that's left is to permanently attach this to its base. Make sure it's facing the right way. In we go. I'm honestly speechless. I didn't think that I was gonna get this much joy out of seeing this all put together. That is just really cool to me. Man, it is just It is something to see it all put together. I mean, I've been living with the prototype version for a while, just sitting on my desk as all the colored pieces were printing in the background. And this is silly. Like it's a very ridiculous thing, but I think that's very on brand for me. I mean, we've got the freshavacado in the front and the fresh avocado in the back, just like how it probably was when the Vine was actually filmed. Dude, I am so happy with that. It looks like one of those like touristy novelty things that you would get at a gift shop. And look, this wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the amazing and hilarious content creator Gasoline, who created the original Vine in the first place. We just so happened to be driving down the road one day, looked over, saw the sign, and made one of the greatest Vines of all time. Now, what I'm gonna try to do is get in contact with Gasoline and make one of these just for her. And not only that, but I'm also gonna be making 3 more of these to give away, which means that there will be 3 different ways to win. The first one is gonna be given away to one of my subscribers. So if you're not subscribed already, you definitely should, because I may just be sending this home with you. The second one I'm gonna be giving away on Instagram, so make sure that you're following me over there too. And the third and final one is gonna be given away to one of the lucky customers on my website. And speaking of the website, that's where I have the files for this available for download. If you have a 3D printer, I'd really like to see you make this yourself. I have got a lot of really fun projects coming up, so you're definitely not gonna wanna miss those. But I'll catch you next time. Thank you so much for watching, and always remember,
Freshavacado!